Hey, this is James. Just wanted to shoot a quick video for you just to answer maybe a couple questions that we get from time to time. One of them being, what do we do? Well, what we do is kind of just take what's complicated and make it simple for the average person. So I'm going to go over a couple different concepts in which we use to illustrate this point. Just think of what one concept is the rule of 72. Think of the average person who has a bank account, and that bank account is probably receiving an interest rate of 1%. Now, what the rule of 72 basically states is that whatever interest rate that you're getting, you divide that into 72. That's going to tell you how long it's take for your money to double. So if you have $10,000 in that bank account, you divide 1 into 72, it's going to take 72 years for that money itself to turn into that 10,000 to turn into 20,000. If you're actually getting a 0.5%, which is probably the national average of most bank accounts, it's going to take about 144 years for that same $10,000 to turn into 20,000. Now, Albert Einstein said compound interest is the most powerful force in the universe. Those that understand it earn it. Those that don't pay it. So look at that from the standpoint of the bank. They kind of understand that principle. They're giving you very little interest on that money that you have in there, but they'll take that same $10,000 and put that on a credit card, on a line of credit, and actually charge you like 18% for that line of credit and what you have on that credit card. Now, you look at 18, divide that into 72, that breaks down to about 4. Well, so in 4 years, if you have $10,000 on that credit card, in 4 years, that $10,000 is going to turn into, let's say, 20,000. That $10,000 is going to turn to 20,000. So now, on that credit card, you owe them $20,000 in 4 years. They gave you one, if you're lucky, and now they're charging you 18. So that's kind of how the rule of 72 works. But you can turn that over for yourself and have that work for you more in your favor than like the same way it does for the banks. And we can kind of show you a couple different programs and what you can do. So you can basically take your money out of your left pocket where you're getting 1% and get a much higher rate, but just doing the same exact thing, but placing your money in your right pocket, taking it from one place, putting it in the other. Another concept we share with people is being a virtual millionaire. Now, let me go into a little bit deeper in that. So if you look at the Census Bureau, it basically states that by age 65, people are going to fall into one of 5 different brackets. So take 100 people, and out of those 100 people at age 65, 54% of those people are still going to be dependent on someone or some entity to be able to support them. 36% of those people are still going to be working. So that's like 90% of the population at age 65, right? They're still going to have to do something additional in order to be able to support themselves. 5% of the people at age 65 are going to have passed away. They're going to be deceased. Well, then you have another 4% that they're going to be considered okay because they're making about $1 million in net worth, or they have about $1 million in net worth, let's say. And then you have another 1% of people that are considered wealthy. They have over $5 million. Now, to have $1 million in net worth, relatively simple. You look at there's 3 different ways to be a millionaire. So there's an asset millionaire, whereas if you take all of your assets and you subtract all of your liabilities from that, and the net result is $1 million, then you're a millionaire. So if you read the book Millionaire Next Door, it's kind of telling you about what's happening now, in the sense that the values of homes have risen. So if you have a home that's worth about 500,000, and let's say you have a 401k or some kind of retirement plan that's worth about 500,000, you put those together, now you have $1 million in net worth, you're a millionaire. Now, take it another step further, the second way to be a millionaire is to be a cash millionaire. So let's say if you sold your home and you turned and you actually were to pull the money out of 401k and you put that in the bank, then you can write a check for $1 million and that check would clear. But technically, before you write the check, you're a millionaire. Now, after you write the check, you may not be a millionaire any longer unless you're a multimillionaire. But the third way is probably the simplest way for most people. This is kind of like a hack in a system for people to become a millionaire, because you virtually become a millionaire and be able to reap the same benefits. And here's what I mean. If you have that $1 million in an account, and that account is earning about 3%. So let's say 3% on the $1 million would generate a return of $30,000 annually. That's roughly about $2,500 a month. So that account is going to be spitting off a payment of $2,500 a month, month after month after month. Now, if you were a multimillionaire, then say you have, that account is $2 million in there. That's going to be generating $5,000 to $60,000 a year, $5,000 a month. But the hardest thing for most people is to be able to actually accumulate that $1 million. Like Elon Musk says, it's easier to make $10,000 than it is to save $10,000. So you can imagine what it's like to get to 1 million. But here's a way in which you can hack the system where you become a virtual millionaire. That's a third way to be a millionaire. And what that is we can show you how to be able to create an asset and put in place where that asset itself is $1 million asset because it's generating for you $2,500 every month, or a multimillionaire to $5,000 every month. So it's a lot easier to create that asset out of nothing, to create that asset out of thin air, than it is for you to be able to save that $1 million or accumulate that $1 million. You want to learn more about that? Just get back to me or the person that shared this video with you. Again, it's James Martin. You have a great day.